Did you know that California leads the nation in the amount of electricity generated by photovoltaic or PV cells? Enough for almost 10,000 homes. With me today is Bill Brooks, who's a photovoltaic expert for the California Energy Commission. Bill, how do these work?
Well, Steve, basically what we got here is a generator that can take sunlight and turn it directly into electricity. It's actually a semiconductor material, so there's no moving parts or anything, and it actually takes the electricity, turns it into direct current, that then we flow into a special device that actually connects our system into the utility system and allows current to flow back and forth. It actually can turn our meter backwards in our house.
How efficient are they?
Basic efficiency is somewhere around 10%. That's being able to take the energy that the sun generates on any given surface and be able to take 10% of that and turn it into useful AC electricity for our house.
Is the efficiency fairly consistent?
Some panels are more efficient than others, but most panels are somewhere around that 10% range.
How long do they last?
Most modules come with about a 10 to 25-year warranty.
What components make up a PV system?
Well, there's wiring that obviously takes the electricity from the solar panels on the roof or maybe even on a shade structure you might have in your backyard, and then takes that and goes to this inverter device that takes the direct current power, turns it into AC current that we use in our house for all our daily loads in our house.
Do these systems require batteries to store the energy?
It's not absolutely necessary. If you want to have backup power in case of a blackout or some kind of a utility interruption, then you do have to have batteries for that. But there are a lot of systems in California that don't have battery backup at all. They just produce electricity whenever the sun shines.
Do you get any power on an overcast day?
Certainly. It depends on how thick the overcast is and how dark it is. It's kind of hard for our eyes to judge the difference. These things are actually excellent light meters, and so they can actually see light to very low levels. Our eyes will adjust to that, and we think there's a lot of light out there. They may not produce a lot on a dark day, but on a partly cloudy day, they could produce maybe half the energy they would on a perfectly sunny day.
How many PVs do we need to power an entire house?
Well, it depends on how much the customer uses in electricity. So that certainly varies all the way from maybe 300 or 400 kilowatt hours a month up to 1,200 kilowatt hours a month. A lot of power for a large user of electricity. So a typical system would be anywhere from 2 to 3 kilowatts of solar panels for a small home of maybe 1,800 square feet, 3-bedroom home. And if it's a much larger home, then obviously it would take a larger system. A typical rule of thumb is to say 1 kilowatt for every 100 square feet. So if you put in 3 kilowatts, it'd be 300 square feet of roof area. If you wanted 5 kilowatts, it'd be 500 square feet. That's a pretty big roof, and most houses don't have a whole lot of roof area to do that with.
What about the cost of these systems?
Well, the cost of these systems varies certainly based on the size of the system. A typical cost the final cost of the homeowner might be anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. So there's kind of a range of costs. But if you look at it over the life cycle of the system, it may be somewhere between 10 and 20 cents a kilowatt hour that it actually costs the customer in the long run. So it certainly pays for itself over time.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's important to remember, according to the Title 24 standards, there are no compliance credits given for PV cells, but the state has some great financial incentives. If you'd like to learn more about photovoltaic or PV cells, check out the other videos on this website.